intellect not recall but use it to discriminate?
I mean, that could be something like a black area which we are not aware of, but it is there. Maybe something of that sort. I just want to guess.
Be careful when the mind takes us to a domain. Yes, there is one aspect of memory which we cannot recall, but which we register. In memory, there are two things. One, you register. Sometimes you register, and then you look. Suppose you see me after 5 years, say, "Who's this guy? Yeah, I can't collect. Who's this guy? Yeah, you can't recall." So if that is the memory you're talking about, but still, then if the memory, if we are not able to recall that memory, then how can the intellect use that which we cannot recall to discriminate something? So my point to you is, as I keep telling you, there is enough realization in our life. There is enough to work on. What do we have to know, Sudeep? Sudeep, what do we have to know? We have to know that we are not this body, it's like a costume. We spoke about it today.
Right.
Is it difficult to understand that you are alive one day before your birthday?
Yes.
Is it difficult to understand you were started as a zygote? Is it black and white? Is it simple to understand?
True.
Is it simple to understand that the body will die? Is it difficult?
No.
Sudeep, let us stick to the basics and let us realize we are the divine soul. And let us get into that state of consciousness in which we experience Ananda. Let us live in that Sat Chit Anand. When you let the mind take you to certain points, you know what the mind is doing? It is trying to distract you. And when it succeeds in distracting you, giving you the excuse of a spiritual thought, then it takes you into non-spiritual thoughts. And it leads you astray. And then you're gone because you're following the mind. Don't follow the mind. Try to spend time in consciousness. Try to spend time in consciousness.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Sudeep. Next.
So Budrani has asked a question.
You're giving it to me?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Dasi Budrani is asking a question. And the question is? Yes, Mr. Dasi Budrani says, please clarify whether it's the grace of Lord that one gets enlightened, not our efforts. Dear Mr. Budrani, the grace of God is essential for enlightenment. But the grace of God is not enough. This is exactly what somebody said when they said, is the grace of God enough? So then we were sitting, suppose I'm sitting on the edge of a lake and I say, to cross this lake, the grace of God is enough. So I'm waiting for the grace of God to cross the lake. Will I ever cross the lake? I will never be able to cross the lake. If I cannot walk through the lake, if it's deep, then I should try to swim. If I cannot swim in the lake because there are dangerous creatures, I should use a boat. But if I don't walk, if I don't swim, if I don't use a boat, but if I only need the grace of God, then the grace of God will never come upon me. Having said that, Dasi, please understand that without the grace of God, there is no chance of getting enlightenment. So I am giving you two important points. The first important point, that only the grace of God is not enough because God wants us to put effort. Point one. And point two, that without the grace of God, it is impossible to have enlightenment. Not only grace of God, as you would know, grace of God and the guidance of a guru. Without the guidance of a guru, can we achieve anything? How can we achieve? If our own guru did not have a spiritual master, could he have become what he has become? How many times have you heard Dada saying that without my master, I would be nothing? How many times Dada has said? Hundreds of times, thousands of times. Therefore, Dasi, we need three things. We need grace of the divine or God. We need the guidance of the spiritual master. And we need a lot of self-effort. We need a lot of self-effort. The people who tell, no, only God's grace is enough, God will laugh. No? God will say, okay, my grace is there, but you make an effort. If you don't make an effort, then my grace also will not be there. So this is what the journey is to enlightenment. The journey to enlightenment is a rare feat. It's a simple thing for the light to come on. Just a light coming on and you realize, I'm not this. ये body जो है, ये तो this body was not nothing when I was in my mother's womb. Dasi, I don't know whether you were there last 1 or 2 sessions we spoke. What was the body when it was in the mother's womb? The body had no
Yeah.
legs, it had no feet, it had no face. It was just a small little thing, just such a small thing. In that mother's womb, the body evolved, it developed. We are not this body. We were alive before the body. When we start realizing that I am that power, that Atma, that was alive as the first, when 2 cells of mother and father become one, I was born. 9 months before my birthday, when we contemplate on this, Dasi, when we pay attention to this, and when we see a person who has died, when we look at the body, and we say, this is not the person. So often we go to the rites of a person who has died, we go to visit a person. ये तो नहीं है, ये तो चला गया, वो तो चला गया. कौन गया? कहाँ गया? These 2 contemplations of our start and our end, if we realize these 2 points, there can be enlightenment if there is the grace of God. And wherever there is need of guidance of a spiritual master, we always, however, I used to run to Dada every now and then, every time go to him, hold my hands and ask questions. So I was telling the group, sometime I would wait 1 month to meet Dada to ask one question. And sometimes we have to wait for 3 hours when people are eating dinner with Dada. Just wait 3 hours to ask one question. Why
That's right.
have we started this Ask Air? Only because we want to give that same wisdom of our master. So please ask me whatever you would like to ask me further, Das.
Ravi, what I want to know, what if one tries very hard every day, every few months, every 1 year, but you are not getting nowhere? Is it because of karmic account or what? I just want to know that.
So there are two effects happening, Dasi. One is our past karma will always create that circumstance where it will stop us from enlightenment. So one is that past karma. But the second is our present karma. So suppose we have got this panja, this hand, these 2 hands are trying to push each other. The past karma is pushing you down, but the present karma is stronger. So the present karma can push the past karma and get enlightenment. Then see what, because that's the point is this. Can we change the past karma? Can you and me go back to our past?
No, cannot.
Cannot. But can we change the present karma?
Yes.
So that is what we have to work on. And exactly what we spoke now. Sincere effort in our present karma, grace of God, and the guidance of a master.
Okay.
These 3 steps, how much ever we try. Also, one more thing. The timing of God is perfect. And if it is not yet happening, who knows? It is going to happen after 1 minute or 1 hour or 1 day.
Right.
So we must surrender. Our job is to trust, to surrender, and let him decide. But we should be sincere in our efforts.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dad. Next question. So having said that, we had 2 very interesting questions, my friends. I would like to ask you a question. How much have you evolved on this spiritual journey? How much have you moved towards enlightenment? Are you using the book? Are you using the enlightenment book or any book for that matter? Even not the book I have sent you, just a simple notebook, a small notebook, writing down where you are on the enlightenment journey. What is holding you back? Do you believe that you are the body or you are the mind, or have you gone beyond? Have you transpassed that? Have you transcended that? The point is this. Many people say, oh, I know I am not the body. You know you're not the body, but as soon as you go to the table, you say, I want mithai, I want jalebi, I want doodh peda, gulab jamun. One who has transcended the body will eat if something comes, but we will not be passionate about food. One will wear clothes, but one will not say, I want only Louis Vuitton and Gucci. No, because how does it matter? See, when we are wearing a label on the back of our shirt or dress, what are we trying to do? We are trying to impress others. Why are we trying to impress others? because of our ego. The moment we behave as the ego, trying to dress and impress somebody, then we have not reached that state of realization. We are a slave. We are so bothered about what people think about us, when in reality it hardly matters. What matters is this beautiful journey that God has given us. What matters is becoming one with the divine. We have to reach that state of realization and then liberation. A lot of people are confused. What is nirvana? What is mukti? What is moksha? It's just like in Kashmir, somebody was telling them, pani hai, pani. So that guy said, no, water, yeah, water. He said, no, I don't want water, I want pani. No, pani and water is the same, na? Pani and water. I don't know. Bridget, what do you say for water in your language, Bridget?
Oh.
Oh. So Bridget,
Oh.
suppose Bridget will come and ask you, u ela u. If you say u ela u, means where is the water? Correct, Bridget? I don't know much of French, but if Bridget comes and says u ela u, so it means where is the water? Huh?
We say oh.
Oh.
Wait. Where is water? Oh.
So how do you say where is the water? How do you say?
U elo.
U elo. Lo. U lo. If you come to India and you ask somebody u lo, they'll say, what the hell is wrong with you? Because but actually, so therefore, this whole world is lost. Some people are calling nirvana, some people are calling moksha, some people are calling mukti, some people enlightenment, some people are saying salvation, some people are saying all different words. But on this group, let us be clear. Let me give you the quick steps. Step number 1, go on a quest, on a talash. Step number 2, overcome ignorance. Step number 3, realize the truth. Step number 4, realization leads to liberation. Step number 5, liberation leads to unification. It is a simple step-by-step method. It's like trying to pour the tea into the cup when the tea is not ready. Don't try to pour the tea until the tea is ready. And when the tea is in the cup, if you need sugar, put the sugar. It's very important for us to follow step by step. And every day, I will try my best. I will try my best to give you one by one step. So, Dasi has one more question. So yes. So let me answer the next point that Dasi asked me is this. One needs to become absolutely pure before one gets enlightened. Please clarify. Dasi, Dada has taught me this very clearly. First step is purification. These are Dada's words, not my words. Purification leads to illumination, and illumination leads to unification. So the 3-step method are 1, purification, 2, illumination, and 3, unification. So if there's no purification, for example, you are trying, if you don't purify the glass, then we can't see through it. So we need the glass to be clear, speak like a mirror. Sometimes on the mirror, if there's a thick layer of dust, we can't see. So we have to wipe, we have to have purification, clean we have to unlearn many things. We have to wipe out what we have been taught. We have purification. When there is purification, wow, there's illumination. Illumination means enlightenment. Enlightenment is not the end. After enlightenment, then is the process of unification with the divine, becoming one with God. And then the person who has reached that level is, but you're right, Dasi, without purification, without being pure, and pure, okay, since you asked the question, what is this purification? This purification is not what people tell us, Dasi. This purification is purifying our ignorance. It is wiping out all the fairy tales we have been taught. We have to remove, so many people taught us fairy tales all our life, which is not true. So you wipe that out. That is the purification. not using shampoo.
What about the habits? We have to purify the habits also, right?
So
Or no?
yes, you have to unlearn the habits. Suppose I have a habit that every day I do 2 hours of puja, and I
Yeah.
know that this 2 hours of puja has no meaning because I should be doing 2 hours of seva. Suppose I'm just giving an example. So I have to change that habit. Or for that matter, if I know that I'm spending 4 hours with people because they're very dear to me, but in reality I should not be attached to this 4 hours I'm spending, then I have to unlearn these habits because this is not taking me towards my spiritual destination. The point, Dasi, is that the journey is only from A to Z. And
Right.
after Z, we can't do anything about it. Therefore,
Correct.
before the point of Z, we have to do it. Before that journey comes where it's Z, we have to be enlightened.
Okay, but
That's
it's not easy though.
It's definitely not easy, but
Huh.
it is worth the effort. For
Absolutely.
example, some people want to go to Mount Everest, and they ask them, "Is it easy to climb Mount Everest?" No, but those who climb Mount Everest, they know what it is to go to Mount Everest, but they work very, very hard to get there. You and me are not.
Indeed very fortunate, I must say.
Huh? What is that?
You are very fortunate to be
Oh,
able
well,
to get enlightened.
that is the grace. We have to always be grateful to the divine and always remain in that grace and not lose that grace. Okay.
Next, Sudeep.
Thank you, Dasi. Sudeep
Yes,
again. Sudeep Bhargava.
Yeah. Sir, in reply to your question that where do you see yourself in this journey of enlightenment, I would like to share one observation from my side.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the third wave of COVID because how I look at it is the first wave of COVID gave us the Friday Zoom call. Second wave of COVID gave us a daily Zoom call. So I'm eagerly waiting for the third wave to come. Let me see what that third wave has in store for us. That will definitely take to the next level of enlightenment.
Sudeep, while I like the humor in what you say, remember one thing, that this is all the grace of the divine. The
Sure.
COVID coming, not coming, you're right. You're absolutely right that COVID caused this, right? The COVID, example, at least the first Zoom call,
Definitely.
it's only because of COVID.
Correct.
Because we were going to have these spiritual retreats in the office. But how would Bridget is sitting in Quebec, and Dasi Budrani, I think he told us he's sitting in Dubai. How could they attend the seminar? How can they attend this? There's some people who are in this call from London, from Jakarta, from Spain, so we have to always be grateful, and I always tell you that we must surrender. So for me, I think we have reached a point. This question and answer session is a big gift from God, because I'm telling you, for me, when I got this flash, I don't think that the Friday Zoom call is so great. I mean, it's once a week, right? Why is this question answer session so important to me? Is because how can we otherwise find out the answers? The way to enlightenment is only finding answers to questions. And how else? See, today, because, for example, Sudeep asked a question, Dasi Budrani asked a question, everybody listening is getting the benefit. Yesterday, Samita asked a question, Surinder Goyal asked a question, the other day, Hitkariji asked a question. Now you are getting the collective wisdom of 50 people, 60 people, 70 people. How could you get it? How could you get this collective wisdom of 60, 70? Rajendra Bakwana suddenly asked something, Krishna Sharma suddenly asked something, Bridget asked something else. But this is the grace of God that we have started this question answer session. Bridget wants to ask a question. Thank you, Sudeep. Bridget wants to ask a question.
Yes. Hi, Shua.
Shivoham, Bridget.
According to my way of life, because I'm from my city and I have my habit and everything, how I can purify my way of doing?
How can you purify it?
Yes.
Bridget, whatever is your way of life, it's okay. It's no problem. What is important is for you, if you want enlightenment, if you want liberation from all the unhappiness, from all the misery, if you want to achieve the ultimate goal of God, whoever you believe in God, the power, the way to purify yourself is to realize I am not this body. This person that I look at the mirror every day and I think it is me. No, I am not the bone and the skin. I am the power within. So when you look at the eye, for example, and you see the power in your eye, or you breathe, or sometimes you listen to a song, you listen to a music of a bird, and you realize that consciousness, you understand that consciousness means that awareness, that ability that you're awake, you're aware. That is the purification. That is not easy. Just now, Mr. Budrani asked the same question, right? The purification is not washing your face with soap or washing your head with shampoo. No, it hardly matters. What matters is that awareness. The more aware you become, the more awakened you are that I am not this. I am that power that makes the heart beat. You touch your heart and you can feel, tuck, tuck. Can you feel or you can't feel that the heart beating? But what is the, tell me, where is the power? What is that power inside your heart? Is the battery there? Can you change the battery inside your heart? No.
No.
Do you put a wire and you charge? You put a charger and you charge? No. Then what is that power, Bridget? Purification means that you are purified to realize that the kingdom of God is inside, that God lives in the temple of your heart. This is purification.
Okay. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you. Rajkumar. Rajan? Rajkumar. Yes, Rajkumar.
Yes,
Raj,
Shivam. Yes.
Shivam Raj.
So my question is that what should be the goal of humanity?
What should be the goal of humanity? When you say
Yeah.
humanity, you're talking of the whole world as one, or you're talking of a human being, of each human being.
Human being. No, total humanity means human being community.
See, the whole goal of humanity cannot be, because you can't have everybody together cannot have one goal. The
Right.
Americans have the goal of killing the Chinese have the goal of killing the Americans. How can have one goal for both Americans and Chinese? Not possible.
Right.
So the goal of a human being, what is the goal of every human being, Rajkumar?
Yes.
The goal of the human being is to be liberated from all misery and suffering when we are alive. Every human being wants to be happy. Every human being in this world. Some people think that some people want to achieve success. If success made somebody unhappy, would they want that success?
No.
No. They want success because it makes them happy. Suppose
Because
you say, I want to
success
marry
brings
one girl.
happiness.
Huh?
Success brings happiness.
You think like that. Yeah. Suppose today one man said, I want to marry one girl. I want to marry one girl. I want to marry one girl. Why he wants to marry that girl? Why?
To live the life happily.
Happy, because he wants happiness from that girl. So one man, he was kept on telling like this to his friend, I want to marry, I want to marry, I want to marry. Then he got married. Then after 6 months, he came back and kept on telling his friend, I want a divorce, I want a divorce, I want a divorce, I want a... So why did this man, first he came and said, I want to marry, I want to marry, I want to marry. Then after 6 months, he said, I want divorce, I want divorce, I want divorce.
Because he could realize the reality of marriage.
No, because he was unhappy with that lady. Nah? Okay. Not because of anything else. Because he was unhappy.
Yeah.
If he was, okay, I'm asking you a question. If one man is very happy with his wife, will he ask for divorce?
No, never.
When does he ask for divorce?
When he's unhappy.
So just to make you understand, everybody in this world wants happiness.
That's true.
Nobody wants unhappiness.
That's true.
But everybody who lives in this world faces unhappiness, because so this world is called dukkha. Buddha said anybody in this world, because people will become old, people will get disease, people will die, people will lose people, somebody else will die. So because of that, the goal of a human being is to reach that state of eternal happiness.
Yeah.
That state of happiness where there is no suffering, where no lady can make him unhappy, no poverty can make him unhappy, no disease can make him unhappy. What is that state, Rajkumar? That state is called enlightenment.
Okay.
That state is called Sat Chit Anand. Sat Chit Anand means to reach that state.
Yeah. To
of-
understand the life, what is the reality of life?
You get enlightened. This is what
Yeah.
we spoke today. Purification, illumination, unification. We spoke about it. So this is the goal. You asked me the question, what is the goal of human being? The
Yeah.
goal of human being is to have, you know, in movies, what they say, have you seen in the movies or in the postcards, they say, and they lived happily ever after.
Yes.
सुना है
Yes.
आपने?
End of the movie.
But but होता नहीं है.
That's true.
This होता नहीं. क्यों होता नहीं है? It doesn't happen because people are not enlightened with the truth. People are not enlightened with the truth, and people are suffering.
And moreover, mind is ever changing, never remains contented always.
Mind is not changing.
Yeah.
Mind is shooting. Mind is shooting thoughts at you. 50 thoughts a minute. The mind is shooting more than AK-47. We think
Yeah.
AK-47 gun is dangerous. More
That's true.
dangerous than AK-47 is what? AK-50. I'm giving
Yeah.
you a new weapon. I'm giving you weapon new name. What is
Okay.
the new name? AK-50.
Okay.
AK-47 is the gun. AK-50 is the mind. It can shoot
Okay.
50 thoughts a minute.
Right.
So this mind that can shoot 50 thoughts a minute can destroy you. And the goal is to have a bulletproof vest. Bulletproof vest means if you are enlightened, the bullets of the mind cannot shoot you. The
Right.
moment you are enlightened, the bullets of the mind cannot kill you. Otherwise, the mind and ego, M-E, the mind and ego can destroy you and me. But this is the challenge of a human being. This is the goal. We have two more quick
Right.
questions. Thank you, Rajkumar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Surinder Goyal. Surinder ji, aa jaiye.
Good evening, sir. Sir,
Shubha.
is there no differentiation in person, place, and time for the consciousness?
In person, space and time.
Yes.
Surinder Goyal. पता है एक बात मैं बोलूं आपसे.
हाँ जी,
When
sir.
we read too many things, no, the space and time itself to define what is space. Surinder, what you tell me what is space?
So space is a location. If for the body, I am sitting in Delhi or Faridabad or which location I am. For the consciousness is everywhere.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, the moment the mind tries to get to space and time and define space and time, already you're going in chakkar. Already your mind has taken you to some other point. So repeat your question once again.
Sir, is there no differentiation in person, place, and time for the consciousness?
So let me give you the real answer which is relevant to you. Surinder, consciousness is that state of being. It is that state of awareness. It is that state of enlightenment. It is that state of realization. Samajh gaya, Surinder? You agree with this point?
Yes, sir.
The moment you reach that state of consciousness, Surinder, nothing matters now. Now I've reversed the question a different way. I'm making you understand. I hope you're getting the point. The moment you reach that state of consciousness, where is time? Where is space? Where is people? Nothing is there, na?
Yes, sir.
You got my point. The moment you reach that state of consciousness, it is Satke Chit mein rehta, Ananda hai pata, Satchidananda हाल है वो, सच का एहसास से होता. You get the point, Surinder?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
आप इस पे concentrate करो, Surinder. It's just like, let me give you an example. एक बार anesthesia ठोक दिया तो कुछ कर सकता है क्या, Surinder?
सर वो रिवर्स तो करते हैं हम.
नहीं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ आपने you are an anesthesia, you are a doctor who gives anesthesia. If
Yes,
you
sir.
give me anesthesia, if you shoot me down with anesthesia, can I do
Yes, sir.
anything? Can I do anything, Dr. Surinder Goel?
No, sir.
Ah, now you contemplate. Just like in a state of anesthesia, a person can do nothing. In a state of consciousness, a person can do everything. This is one end of the spectrum, anesthesia, and consciousness is the other end of the spectrum. Okay, Surinder?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more?
Nishu tomorrow.
Okay, Nishu will ask the question tomorrow because we have reached that time of 8:35 and it is time to let all of you go. My dear friends, 8 to 8:30 can transform your life. 8 to 8:30 can give you that light which can not only lead what Dasi said, purification, illumination, but unification. Dasi touched a topic which our Guru taught us. Our Guru Dada, he was a great soul and he was a truly enlightened being. It is very difficult to find enlightened beings like that. And we have to learn step by step. We have to learn with humility. We have to move forward. Enlightenment is a journey. Every day we take one step at a time. And like I told Mr. Budrani, his timing is perfect. Don't stop. Maybe tonight you will be enlightened. Maybe tomorrow. For me, it happened on the 14th of August, 2014, when I was flying AF 192, Air France 192, Paris to Bangalore in the plane. Boom, boom, not zoom, but boom. I got answers to my questions. So with that note, I bow down to you and I thank you.